The hidden code of power. Sounds pretty dramatic, right? But today we're going to dig into this idea that maybe, just maybe, the world around us is operating on a kind of hidden script. We're going to look at some theories that claim there's a real blueprint for modern power, one that's kept just out of sight. Okay, so we're just bombarded with information 24/7, right? It's on our phones, our TVs, it's everywhere. But let's kick this off with a pretty wild thought. What if all of that, everything you see, everything you're told, what if it's just an interface? You know, like a screen on a computer. It's designed for you to interact with it, sure, but not necessarily to understand what's really going on underneath. And let's just push that idea a little bit further. There are some theories out there that say the system we all trust, the one that runs our society, our money, our information, isn't just broken by accident. The idea is that the so-called flaws are actually there on purpose. They're features, not bugs, specifically designed to keep you from seeing what's really happening behind the scenes. So if there really is some kind of hidden script, you gotta ask, who wrote it? Who are the writers? Well, that brings us right into our first section, the architects of destiny. First up, let's talk about something called the Bilderberg Group. So get this, since way back in 1954, this group has been holding a super private conference every single year. Officially, they say it's all about promoting discussion between Europe and North America. But here's the kicker, it's all completely secret. The meetings, the talks, none of it is public. And you can imagine that level of secrecy has definitely fueled a lot of theories.
And you have to look at who goes to these things. This is where it gets really interesting for the people who study this stuff. We're not talking about your average managers here. No way. The guest list is a who's who of global power. We're talking presidents and prime ministers, the CEOs of the biggest tech companies, the top dogs in global finance, and even major academics. Basically, the very people who shape how the world works.
So all this secrecy just leads to a massive question that the critics always bring up. I mean, we're told over and over that democracy is all about transparency, right? So why are some of the most powerful people on the planet having these huge discussions about our future in total secrecy, completely hidden from you and me?
Okay, so that's influencing things on a global scale. But what about influencing you personally, your mind? This is where we get into some really unsettling territory, human reprogramming. And look, this isn't some sci-fi movie plot. This is real history. Back in the 50s, the CIA actually ran a program called Project MKUltra. It was a real, documented program all about mind control. Now, if they were doing that 70 years ago, it really makes you wonder, what could they be doing now with the incredibly powerful algorithms that basically run our digital lives?
Yeah, and the key thing here is just how far they were willing to push it. This quote about MKUltra, I mean, it's chilling. They were using drugs, total isolation, weird sound frequencies, anything they could think of to literally try and break a person's will. The goal was to completely reprogram a human being.
Okay, now let's bring this right back to you, right now. Just think about your phone for a second. An algorithm decides what news you see, what videos pop up, even what opinions you're exposed to. It's not reality, it's a curated reality. So the big question is, who's writing that code? And what's their endgame? Controlling the information you see is one thing, but what if they're not just controlling it? What if they're watching everything on a massive global scale? Well, let's talk about the all-seeing eye. This is a real thing, folks. It's called the Five Eyes Alliance. It's this massive intelligence sharing deal between the USA, the UK, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand. Basically, they work together to scoop up and analyze signals intelligence, emails, phone calls, all that, from all over the planet. It's honestly one of the biggest surveillance networks in the history of the world. And the sheer scale of this is just huge. It's this giant web where all this information just flows between these countries. And critics point out a pretty scary loophole here. If your own government is legally blocked from spying on you, they can just ask one of their partners in the alliance to do it for them and then share the data. The bottom line is, they share everything. And here's the really chilling part that privacy experts always talk about. When you're looking at it from the system's point of view, your personal identity, it kind of just disappears. You're not a citizen with rights anymore. You're just a data set, a collection of information to be tracked and analyzed. The fear is that the devices we carry everywhere, our phones, the microphones, the cameras, they're not just ours. They're potential sensors for a network that we have zero control over. So this theory of control isn't just about the digital world, about what's on your screen. No, some people who follow this stuff argue that it's physically built into the world all around us.
which brings us to this idea of a hidden blueprint. Okay, so take a look at the layout of Washington, D.C. There's a really popular theory that focuses on the street plan. If you look from above, you can find all these weird geometric patterns like pentagrams and Masonic symbols. And the people who believe this theory say it's no accident. They argue the whole city was designed this way on purpose, to embed these symbols of power and psychological influence right into the Capitol.
So that's the big question, isn't it? Are these patterns just a random coincidence from how they plan the city? Or, as these theories claim, was the capital city itself designed with these symbols to project power and stamp its authority on the world? All right, so let's put these pieces together. Where does all this lead? Well, all of these theories seem to be building towards one final alleged goal: total control, exercised through the most basic parts of our lives. The theory basically lays out two main ways this happens. First, you've got economic chains. The idea here is that the whole financial system is rigged. Things like planned recessions and constant inflation, they're designed to keep you struggling, just focused on making it to the next paycheck. Because if you're just trying to survive, you don't have time or energy to question anything. And then, it gets even wilder. The theory goes into biological chains, suggesting the next step is actually messing with human biology itself to create a more obedient, less questioning population. And that brings us to the supposed endgame of this whole thing. According to these theories, it's not just about controlling the masses, it's about achieving something more for a tiny group at the top. The idea is that the elite are chasing biological immortality for themselves, while the rest of us are left behind, just stuck in this endless loop of working, buying things, and then dying. So we've looked at theories about secret meetings, mind control, global spying, even hidden symbols in our cities. It's a lot, and it all leads us to one final question. The main argument, the thread that connects all of these theories, is this: none of it is an accident. It's not random chaos. The idea is that every single piece is part of a much bigger system, a kind of hidden code that's running the reality we all live in. And that leaves us right here with this one last thought. When you see things that don't add up, the inconsistencies, the secrets, the weird patterns in the world, what are you really looking at? Is it just a glitch in the code? A little bug in a complicated system? Or, as these theories would have you believe, are you getting a peek at the final plan? Of course, like with anything we talk about, the real key is to keep asking questions, do your own digging, and make up your own mind.